GM Michael Luck joins us. Hello, Lucky. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, mate. How are you?
That's a pretty good filly, that Tomalolo, mate. I like him.
Well, we take that as a knock. You called him a filly.
Sorry about that.
A very good young colt. That's what we call him. Mate, all going well. Warriors are playing well, so you guys must be happy.
Very happy indeed. I want to talk about your NQ to start with, though. Your Cowboys, the only team in the comp so far, won 4 out of 5 games. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, certainly better than the alternative. I don't think that our guys have really put a good 80 minutes together yet. Respectfully to the opposition we've played, we've come up against a few sides that are maybe more low on troops. So we've got a month in front of us now. We go to Parramatta Saturday night, then to Cronulla next week, and then home to Penrith and to Redcliffe. I think we'll get a better indication of where we're really at. At the end of that little stretch. So, but mate, you'd much rather be 4-1 than the other way around. So we're not going to complain at all about how we're travelling at the moment.
I said with Tony Kemp every Monday, and we do a podcast, mate, that's out, and I keep asking the question, who's the best team in the comp right now? And he keeps saying to me, Martin, it's only 4 or 5 weeks or 3 weeks into the season. It's almost impossible to tell. Is it really that difficult at the moment to say? I mean, you can pick 1 or 2 teams out, but is everyone much of a muchness still in your mind?
I think what this early period of the competition has proven, the theory we've sort of had here internally anyway for certainly the best part of last year and now the start of this year, is that there's just not the depth amongst squads that there was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And that's now with the advent of the Redcliffe side, that it's just stripped a couple of decent players out of every team. I think every team's got 15 good NRL players. I think most teams have, say, 20. Some teams have 23, 24, but there's not many that have more than that. And by that, again, respectfully, I mean, we've got, they fill the roster out with young guys or journeyman type players that to make up your 30. So I think the teams that will go the furthest this year are the ones with those sort of 24, 25 NRL ready players. And certainly I think the Warriors are in amongst that. I think Cronulla, I think Penrith are again. The Broncos, although they haven't started great, they've all been a bit up and down. I think they've got a good squad. So I think those, sort of 5 or 6 teams that have got the deepest rosters are the ones that will be still there at the end of the year.
And, and we've already seen with the Broncos, haven't they, losing 1 or 2 key players, how difficult it is to replace those guys. I mean, it's very perceptive of you to say that, because here is the NRL wanting to expand into an 18th team and then talking about 20 teams. And look, and my biggest fear has been that, that you need at least 30 players who are first-grade players. So effectively, you're going to have to find another 120 or so, and that is a really difficult ask.
Well, yeah, look, I've got to toe the party line a bit here, don't I?
Sure you do.
I guess you get to a point where you dilute the quality of competition if you go too big too quickly, if that makes sense. So I think there's definitely there's a bit more money being invested into pathways with all the cash that's come into the game over the last couple of years. But I still think that we're a little way off being anywhere near ready for an 18th team, and certainly a long way from being 19th or 20th. So I'd be cautious of that. I think the product at the moment is pretty good. I think TV ratings are good. People are watching the game. Some great tries being scored. There's some really good young players coming through that are doing good things. But if you put too many, or you dilute that too much more, then something's got to give. It's only rational that happens.
Michael Luck with us. Well, you're certainly old enough to remember 97, 98, and when Super League came along, and that was entirely the case, wasn't it? A couple of other things I want to talk to you about before we get into the Warriors. Look, I mean, yes, you're exactly right. This is another sellout this weekend on Saturday night, mate, and that's 25,000 at Mount Smart. Almost every game is going to be a sellout. And I was drawing the parallel a little bit earlier on the program. I said, look, I got so much time for what you're doing up in North Queensland and the fan base there in Townsville. I think you can actually draw a parallel and say what you've got up there and the devotion of your fans is also what we're seeing here.
Yep. We've been really lucky. We sold, Sunday afternoon. Our best time slot here is 5:30 or 7:30 on a Saturday night, and that's the case because we've got about 30% of our full season membership base travel over an hour to get here. So that means they're from either Ingham, Charters Towers or Ayr or further afield, so Cairns, Mackay, Mount Isa. And it's just, it is what it is. We're a big spread out population, this part of the world. People love their footy and they want to come along, but they usually make a weekend of it. So if it's a Saturday night game, they can come up Saturday morning. Maybe they take the kids to the shops, come to the footy in the afternoon and evening, go out for dinner or go and have a beer after it and home on Sunday. So we just suffered. Look, I think we sold 22,000 tickets on Sunday just gone, but we had a bit of breakage there. So that tells us that people that have bought tickets, and generally they're season ticket holders from a long way away, just can't get in on a Sunday to go to the footy. So, the NRL done us a favour now. We're getting into our best weather this time of year. We've got a lot of Saturday games in that evening slot from now on. So looking forward to having some full houses up here. But to go back to the Warriors, I just think it's a product of a club going really, really well. It's a brand that's exceptional at the moment. A team that's playing a great style of footy. And people want to be a part of it. And that's, I guess, as simple as it is with successful sporting clubs across the world at the moment. You look at the ones that go well and they make money and they're sustainably successful are the ones that just a great product that people want to be a part of.
Oh, you're exactly right. Tick, tick, tick on all of the things that you're saying. But it just doesn't happen like that, does it? You've got to actually have all the building blocks in place. They say it's all about the front office. You've got to get that right to start with. You've got to engage with your fans. We've got a New Zealand Rugby Union over here, which is kind of desperate, kind of missed the boat for a few years and talks about fan engagement like it's something in a PowerPoint presentation. But this is what I want to pick your brain about, because you do it. And obviously what you've just been saying and people have been listening to here is that you're very conscious of the lifestyles of your fans, about where they're coming from, about what they're actually doing on a Saturday or a Sunday. How do they get to the game? How do they then get home after the game? What does it actually cost them? If they come, who do they bring with them? Is it a full family experience? All of these things. Do you actively sit down or have over the last couple of years, Michael, and actually written all those things down, discussed all of those things, and that's what you then take back to the NRL and say, okay, this is the reality of where we are, where we live, and all of these things?
Yep. Absolutely. We've got basically a data warehouse that keeps all of that real deep, enriched member and fan data that we consistently go back and review and make sure that we're giving our people what they're asking for and what they want. And then if we're not, we're asking them the questions. Well, okay, you haven't been to 2 games in a row. Is there something that's going wrong here?
Right. Yes.
Something wrong. All that sort of stuff. So we're really lucky that I guess we're an early adopter of that type of technology and that type of data strategy. But there is an overall strategic plan about understanding who you want to be and putting some things around that you try not to waver from. There's always going to be exceptions you have to make with your roster and or I guess some short-term decisions you make. But very generally, I think if you set a long-term strategy and everyone in your building is on board with that, then you set sail. And I think that's definitely what the Warriors have done. Cameron and Robbo, they've done a great job at the top level, and then Webby and his footy staff have done a really good job putting a team together that can play the style of footy that they want to play, and the crowd's turning up and they're getting some good entertainment.
Michael Luck is with us, over 150 games for the Warriors, over 200 NRL games, now the GM at North Queensland. And with the NRL, they're obviously receptive to this, which again is great to hear. I mean, when the top brass, when the big fish heads are actually listening to what you're saying and obviously saying, okay, well, this is how we connect, this is how we do it. I mean, that's joyous to hear. It really is.
Yeah, they're all smart businessmen too. They get it. They want every club to be sustainable. They don't want clubs to be coming to them with their hand out saying, we need more money, we're not making enough because our crowds aren't good, or we got bad TV time slots, so we can't sell sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. So, I think the head brass at the NRL, they get a bit of a bad rap sometimes over here in the Australian media. I actually think they're doing a really good job. I think they found a decent balance between the commercial business side of pro sport, or running a pro sport league, and then making sure that there's a decent product on the field. I guess what you can't do is rest on your laurels, because you see it's certainly happened with the Australian Rugby Union here at the moment. The National Basketball League that went nearly bankrupt a couple of years ago, fighting their way back, and now the A-League, the soccer competition, is a shadow of what it used to be. So the minute you take your eye off the ball, you got the opportunity not the opportunity, but the very real possibility that you go backwards. So it's something they've done well, but it's always a work in progress.